Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Summer 10 Release Preview webinar for Cloud Apps. Today we'll be guiding you through a tour of the brand new features from our Sales and Service Clouds in Summer 10. My name is Satheja Parulekar, and I'm the Release Marketing Specialist on the product marketing side. We're excited today to have with us Scott Jorgensen, our Principal Technical Architect. This is our safe harbor statement. Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company, and we just want to take a moment to remind you that these features we're going to be discussing today have not yet been released, and purchasing decisions should be based on features that are currently available. If you have any questions about this, please visit salesforce.com/investors. I'd like to draw your attention to our developer release site, developer.force.com/releases. Just as a reminder to all of the information presented here today will be available on this website. Feel free to refer to this page for the webinar replay and the release notes and more demos, as well as the discussion forum. Here's a quick review of our agenda for today. We'll be covering new features in the Summer 10 from the Service Cloud and then the Sales Cloud. And then we'll have some quick updates on Chatter. We'll have some time for questions and answers afterwards as well. First, we'd like to go over some new features from the Service Cloud coming in Summer 10. New in Summer 10, we have some important community features as well as knowledge base enhancement. Here's a quick overview of the features we're going to be going over today. In Summer 10, answers can now be exposed through Force.com sites to provide a forum for your customers. Scott, let's take a look at how a customer would view answers on a public website.
This is a pretty exciting feature, Satheja, I have to say, because fundamentally, when you think about what's going on with the Service Cloud, it's all about reaching across that gap from inside the call center to out there on the web, which is where our customers live. That's where they're looking for answers. And if you're like me, the first thing I do when I go and try to find an answer in the morning is I go straight to Google. And I search on Google, and the search results come up. And now your answers and your customers' questions can be live on your public Force.com sites. Your questions, those answers, as well, of course, as your knowledge and your ideas will all come back in those Google search results.
Absolutely.
That's the hot new thing with Force.com sites, is having the answers there. And then, of course, when your customers do have those questions, they might find something like the guide they were looking for. That might have been their top hit. But they also can now come in and start to ask, and they can say, I didn't find what I wanted. And you might have a new customer who's just getting started and might ask, how do I get started easily? And they would post that question. And it's a lot like a lot of other answers products you might have used out there on the web. It's going to come back and say, that looks a lot like other questions we've seen happen. And they might take a look at that and see that actually there's already a best answer that's been crowdsourced from all the other thousands of customers that have been online asking questions, suggesting answers. There was a series of replies, but ultimately this one from a gentleman named Michael King was voted up or liked by the community and then ultimately selected as the best answer. So it's promoted right up to the top. Makes it easy for me to find that Getting Started link, in this case on our Developer Force website, and also that nice Getting Started Force.com video.
Wow.
So that's a little bit about Force.com sites live with answers.
Well, so that really seems like a great way to capture, what your community's thinking and also questions that your community has, so your service agents are ready with those answers. I guess next, since your customers can now ask these questions and you can capture that information through Salesforce Answers, we've provided a feature to capture those questions in cases so your service agents can keep track of all the questions that are going on in the community and then can solve them much, much faster.
Right. So the key thing here is that if I came to that website and I asked that question and it didn't get answered, right? I found a question before that did get answered. If I asked a question, I posted one and it didn't get answered, you might set a workflow rule to notify a support agent. You might have a report to help you find what those looked like, and you might have either moderators in your community or agents internally come across those questions that got asked, and then they can click a button to turn that question into a customer service case, bring it into that official call center, contact center, agent-assisted support process then they'll use their trained skills, they'll use their knowledge bases, their content, their internal resources to help that customer get the help they need. That brings in from the crowdsourced community out on questions and answers into that customer service case management process. So it bridges that gap, gets them the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. So while some of the most important questions about your product will come from the community, like Scott mentioned, some of the best answers may also bubble up through the same forum. To capture best replies from the community, we have Answers to Knowledge, where you can turn a customer reply into an article for your own knowledge base. Scott, how would a knowledge base manager turn a reply into an article?
Well, that's a good question because, as you saw, we had a fantastic answer that had already been promoted by the community. It's out here on our Force.com site. So if I head right back and I'm logged in as an agent here in the call center, and I'm looking at my internal view of that answers community, and I take a look at that very same question that got asked, when I see this answer has been promoted as the best answer, I'm going to have workflow rules that might alert me to that fact. I have reporting that would tell me what were the very popular questions that have been answered, and maybe people continue to like that particular response. That's going to let me know that potentially this expert, Michael King, has created an answer so good that we might want to turn it into a knowledge-based article. And now that's really, really easy for us to do from a knowledge generation perspective. So now I've not just maybe crowdsourced a question, but I've actually crowdsourced knowledge from this answer. So I promote this to an article. That moves me into the authoring environment for Salesforce Knowledge, and it's already drafted me based on what that gentleman wrote up. All that information, I would begin to categorize this. Maybe the material he'd written about was not just for particular products, but for our home-based products. I might say that it's applicable to West. So I'm going to start breaking down based on the dimensions of our business and how we break down our knowledge base, what that actually looks like, and work it on through the knowledge publishing process. I'm not going to bother typing up the rest of it, but you can see that as soon as I do, it's going to let my community know that this answer has also been promoted into the official company knowledge base. And as it works its way through the draft status and ultimately gets published, I would publish it maybe first to my agents. Then I might decide to publish it out to my customer portal so my logged in customers could actually see it. I might publish it out to my partner portal so my partners could see it as well. And if it were really valuable information, I might publish it right back out to that very same Force.com site so that even people searching on Google would find that very same knowledge-based article. So remember at the beginning we talked about questions and answers are indexed by Google. The knowledge base is already indexed by Google. Now I've crowdsourced that answer. It can come all the way back and get published out to Google. So when I started that first search, instead of finding a question and answer dialogue, I'm going to find that official company knowledge published back out. So that's crowdsourcing knowledge with Force.com sites and Service Cloud. Great.
So on that same theme of improving our knowledge base, it's important to acknowledge that some of the best information comes straight from your service agents. So new with Summer 10, we've made it easier than ever to create a knowledge article right from a case close. This way the information to solve your customers' most important cases is always captured in your knowledge base.
Right. So we made it really easy to get the answer from the community. We're also going to make it really easy for your agents to produce knowledge while they're actually helping customers. So let's take a look at a case that I was working on a little bit ago, case number 1392 here, with one of my customers that I think was having a problem with their password, if I remember correctly. It says right here, their wireless router was having a little trouble. So if I work through and actually close that case out, because I did finish it earlier, I'd mark it closed, and I can just save it out or work my way through creating a knowledge-based article based on how I resolve that wireless router problem. So that's that same draft article status. I work my way through that process. So again, making it easy to start that knowledge generation process from a point where you know you've actually got a high-quality resolution to a problem, get it into draft status, work it through the workflow, and then start publishing it back out. One of the definite best practices from a knowledge center support perspective.
Absolutely. And keeping with the same theme, of getting that information straight to your customers, we've also made it easier than ever to deliver knowledge straight to your customers in an easy-to-read email format. Let's take a look at how a service agent can send out articles to solve a customer case.
This we've made pretty easy. So if we go back to that very same case that I was just working on, actually let's flip to maybe a slightly different case here. I've got an article attached. And so if I want to finish out my case here, maybe I'm wrapping up, I'm done. I'd like to confirm with that customer, maybe I just closed it, and I want to send them an email that includes my knowledge base article. I choose an easy email template, lets the customer know that we're all done, and that I've attached the articles for that customer. And we can see down here below as a nice little PDF, it takes those knowledge base articles straight out of the knowledge base, puts them in a nice PDF attachment for that customer. I can get it right back out to them. Very simple.
Great. Sounds like a quick and easy process. So now we have suggested articles for cases. This helps when your service agents are solving customer cases and searching for the right article. This whole process can be really time-consuming sometimes. So to improve this experience, Salesforce can suggest articles for a particular case, helping your agents solve cases faster. Let's look at a quick example.
This is all about making it easy for the agents to get cases handled with fewer clicks. Let's go back to that case that I was just working on. Let's assume that I didn't have a knowledge base article already. So I'm just getting started with this case. This particular customer is having a very, very common problem. So the first step here is to look for articles and get a really solid suggested set of knowledge base articles coming back. So it's taking a look at the ones that get viewed a lot, the ones that get used a lot, the ones that match based on relevance. And it's suggesting, of course, to me this how do I reset my password article, which matches really well to that resetting password problem that customer was having. So I might pick that up. But as an agent, I might also be aware that this customer was not just having a password problem, but maybe other related problems. And so I can attach multiple articles quite easily. So maybe I would do that, but I might pick one, and I might continue to search. Right? I might begin to filter out more, and I'm really ratcheting down and looking through my knowledge base, but I've already got that one attached article, and if I found more and more, I could check more and more and more. And ultimately, when I was done, I would head back to that case. So it's a way to use the knowledge base with the least clicks possible, still getting the recommended solutions to those problems all along the way.
Right. So I guess next we want to talk about Chatter and knowledge. We've all heard the buzz about Chatter, and in Summer 10, Chatter is in private beta. And we like to just send out that quick message that knowledge is also compatible with Chatter. So it works with all of your knowledge base articles, allowing your service agents to follow articles and receive automatic notifications in their feeds if things are updated or added to your knowledge base.
This is really how Chatter is going to start changing the game, not just in the call center, but across every application. But in this specific example, keeping pace with the change of the knowledge base. And I can tell you in really, really busy call centers where people are launching new products, their businesses are dynamic, the knowledge base is dynamic too. So if I were an agent and I had used that really, really popular knowledge base article, I can head right back to it. And hang on here. Let me get to my list of articles here. And I've got that very familiar Chatter follow button here. So if that article is going to change pretty often, and a lot of my knowledge base articles do, I subscribe to that. And then, as an agent, when I'm working, my feed is now going to start bringing to me changes that happen with not just documents and not just people I'm working with, but also those knowledge articles that I am most interested in. And so this is going to keep pace with the hot issues coming out of the knowledge base as things occur without me getting flooded with emails, without having to have conference calls about what's going on. I'm going to have better situational awareness as an agent on the floor about what's happening simply as I get my work done.
That sounds like not just a great productivity tool, but incredible collaboration tool for your service agents.
Exactly.
So that concludes our Summer 10 features for the Service Cloud. Let's dive right into some of the collaboration and productivity features from the Sales Cloud. Here's a quick overview of the features we're going to be going over today from the Sales Cloud. We've got some great new improvements and functionality for scheduling, marketing, mobile, and analytics. So the Cloud Scheduler is now generally available in Summer 10. The Cloud Scheduler takes the work out of scheduling meetings by replacing all of the email and phone calls necessary to negotiate meeting times. Unlike other calendaring applications, the Cloud Scheduler allows you to propose multiple meeting times so you can put the decision-making in the hands of your customer. Let's look at a quick demo. Scott, can we put something on the calendar?
You know, we should. And I know you're a very busy person, and I'm a busy person. And additionally, all the customers that I'm always trying to work with, they're busy too. So when I put meetings together in life, we're battling it out in Outlook. We start emailing, you start emailing, I lose track of the email dialogue. It's pretty painful.
Communication is everywhere.
So much like Chatter is changing the game, Cloud Scheduler is changing the game. It's going to allow us to get all the information into one place as we try to put this meeting together. So let's look at how easy this is. So you and I were talking with Rosa the other day, remember? We wanted to talk to her about how amazing our products were for her, how we could drive some new levels of success for her at her company. So we're tracking her as a lead in Salesforce.com. And if we want to go get a meeting set up with her, I simply put together a new meeting request. And because you and I both sync our Outlook calendars with Salesforce.com, it's going to help me be aware of what your calendar looks like and my calendar looks like as I propose this meeting time out to Rosa. And you notice I haven't used the Cloud Scheduler before. We're making our features in Salesforce more and more easy to discover along the way. I've never used this before. So it's coaching me on how to actually get this done. So it's saying the first thing you want to do is figure out who else you need. Rosa's already been invited, but I'm going to look you up here and add you into the schedule. The next thing to do is figure out when would we like to meet. So I might pick some various times. We'd like to maybe meet for an hour. I might put some different times on the calendar that I think work. I'm kind of busy right now, so I might schedule it right after it at 3 p.m., maybe a couple times tomorrow. Or sometimes that's tricky. I might want to go out and let Salesforce.com figure it out for us. Maybe, and I know you're very, very busy, if this happens to you, let Salesforce actually propose some times. So I'd say we really need to meet in the next week. We know that, a little tough to see under here, but this actually tells you how long it is. So I'd say maybe it's going to be an hour, how long, 2 hours, whatever it looks like. And then, of course, we're going to send that meeting request out.
It looks like it's really guiding you through the process here.
Yes. And once I've learned how to use this once, of course, I wouldn't use this navigation before. But you can see how easy it is for me to learn how to use this feature. So there we go. I've sent out my request. Everyone's going to get emails in their inbox.
Oh, there it is.
And you're going to have to imagine that this is Rosa's inbox. All right? So imagine that I'm Rosa here. She's just received this email inviting her to participate in this meeting. And she's got a link where she can respond to this request right online. And this is where it really starts to change the game for Rosa. Now she can see if I've invited lots of people, maybe lots of people at her company, lots of people at our company, what's actually going on. Because when she comes in, she can say, yeah, that Friday time was pretty good, but next Monday would also be pretty good. And she might say, Monday is actually better.
So on that right-hand side, you're actually keeping track of the conversation.
Exactly. So I've proposed the meeting, and here's my notes. Rosa comes back and says XYZ. So the email dialogue that's usually lost in your inbox and you're filtering all through is right online, all in one place.
Wow. So not only does the Cloud Schedule allow you to arrange meeting with a few simple clicks, but it also tracks all of the discussion about your meetings in one convenient place.
Exactly. And of course, I'm getting alerted, since I put the meeting together, about those responses that are coming back, so I'll know right away. But of course, since I want to have a view of everything all in one place, when I head back into Salesforce.com, and I'm the one putting the meeting together, I can see all that dialogue in one screen, don't have to deal with my email. I can tell that you haven't gotten me back to me yet, might give you a call and find out what's the hang up here. But of course, as I choose which time actually works best for everybody, I can send a confirmation out and let everyone know I've got it all figured out. This is when we're going to be meeting, and now we're confirmed.
Right.
So the surprising part is how easy that is for everyone compared to the email shuffle that we all do today.
Absolutely. So now we're going to dive into our marketing and leads features for Summer 10. Summer 10 brings enhancements to campaign management to improve communication between your sales and marketing teams. With campaign alerts, you can set up custom notifications to lead owners to let them know when related campaign members are ready for sales follow-ups. This is going to ensure that sales is now aware of new leads. As you can see here, I can create a specific rule, like if the campaign type equals telemarketing, and then send an email notification to the related lead or contact owner to follow up with that prospect. With campaign alerts, automatic email notifications can be sent to sales reps to ensure timely follow-up and improve communication between sales and marketing.
That is a powerful feature because I know in marketing you always be trying to bridge that gap, and this is going to get that communication right out to the exact right person at exactly the right time with all the contextual information to get that follow-up done.
So just like you said, improving that communication between sales and marketing is it's a big gap in a lot of companies. And another valuable feature in Summer 10 to achieve this is enhanced campaign history, which allows you to see important campaign member behavior right on the lead record, actually. This feature allows sales and marketing to see a complete picture of the interactions with the prospect in a single location. You can see simple fields like whether a prospect attended the event versus whether they responded, or you can see detailed custom fields like whether they liked the event or some sort of interaction they had at the event or who they met with.
That's a super valuable feature, I have to tell you. It sounds very simple, but I know in my sales meetings when we go and have maybe an executive briefing seminar and there's loads of customers in the room, they're always filling out those feedback surveys. And this is a place for the marketing team to come back and let us know in sales, what did that customer say on that survey? So when I follow up and talk to them on the phone, I can be so much more effective in keying in on the keywords, the thoughts they had, what they liked or didn't like, and really, again, bridge the gap.
So at Salesforce, a lot of the records are centered around, the way the records are laid out are centered around getting a 360-degree view of your customer. And with the Campaign Member Details feature, you can view as much information as you need about the customer and the campaign right on the Campaign Member Detail page. So now any fields from the lead, contact, or account record can be displayed through a custom formula field on the campaign member record. So this allows both sales and marketing teams to view complex customer data with fewer clicks.
This, again, I think is all about simplicity, Satesha. When I'm looking at a campaign member status page, I don't want to have to click all over the place to get that information. Now my administrator can bring everything into one place for me. Again, making it really, really simple for me in sales just to know what I need to get my work done.
Yeah, here with Summer 10, we're all about making things easier and reducing clicks. And another feature in marketing that we've newly introduced is the one-click campaign lookup. So with this feature, you can quickly access a contact or lead detail information right from the campaign member-related list. So this allows you to quickly access contact or lead detail information to follow up with a campaign member in one click. So when you're looking at a campaign, you see all the members. To get to the lead information, you're one click away. That sums up our new features for marketing. Let's take a quick look at some new enhancements in mobile.
So mobile is always an exciting thing to be talking about. Ever since we launched it, it's been a very powerful tool. But I have to tell you, ever since we turned on Salesforce Chatter here at Salesforce.com, adoption of mobile has gone through the roof. For me and everyone I'm working with here, and for all of the customers I'm working with in that Chatter private beta, they're saying the same thing. Mobile is more important than ever. And so, again, this is a very, very simple feature saying that on the iPhone specifically, when you search, we're now going to search the device and the server at the same time. Subtle, But now when you're using mobile more and more and more, those ease of use features are super important. So look for this. Let your users know about it. Definitely going to help mobile phone adoption.
Absolutely. I know when I use Salesforce on my mobile phone, on my iPhone, this is just going to make searching so much more easier, especially, with Chatter. So that's it for mobile. And to kick off analytics in Summer 10, we have drag and drop dashboards, one of the most requested features on the Idea Exchange. Dashboards are a powerful way to manage your business, but they can be pretty time-consuming to build. With this feature, anyone can build the dashboards in minutes. So let's take a quick look at how easy it is to create and edit a dashboard with this new feature. Scott, how might a sales executive configure his or her own dashboard?
It's good to talk about sales executives. They have always loved Salesforce dashboards. I know all of our executives here certainly do. The executives I work with in the customer base certainly do. But over time, when you run more and more and more of your company in Salesforce.com, you have more reports. And boy, those dashboards today, it's kind of a lot of clicking. This is where the game really changes for executives and anybody who manages their business straight out of Salesforce.com dashboards. When you look at them, it's going to be very familiar. When you refresh them, it's very familiar. What's really different is when you hit that edit button. We're going to make those dashboards a lot easier to put together, to modify as you go along. And it's all about the drag and drop capability that we've added and letting you get it all done from one screen. So you can see that it's added a nice little palette on the left here. So if I'm looking at my executive analytics and I decide that, there's really another, maybe, I don't know, a kind of a trend analysis I'd like to show to contrast one trend right next to my sales pipeline information here, I can just drag that line chart in here. And I know that this is going to be another trend that I'm going to add. Maybe it's going to be year over year. And you notice that I haven't chosen the report yet.
Right.
So I can kind of paint the canvas, not really worry about the details. And this is actually one of the things that helps you be effective because it's all about vision and visibility. It's the way you see things that actually makes you effective with the dashboard. And so making that simple for people, maybe realizing that that doesn't contrast as well as maybe if I put it over here. And so again, I still haven't really finished putting this particular component together, but I'm already deciding maybe it looks better somewhere else. Then I might decide that a line chart's going to be good, but it's going to go really well with a particular set of data. I know there's a really key report, maybe on the forecast. And you notice that as I type, it's helping me sift through the hundreds, maybe thousands of reports that you've put together. I know we have thousands of reports that I run here in Salesforce.com. Maybe a pipeline forecast by category would contrast well with that line chart I've put together. So again, I just drop that data source on here. Then maybe I might go choose what I actually want it to look like. And for my line chart here, what it really needs is some source data. So I might say the line chart, maybe I want to supply that with the channel forecast. And I might start comparing my direct sales forecast and pipeline against my channel sales forecast. And I might begin to put together the picture that I'm trying to paint for everybody at my company. You'll also notice that as I drop the data source on here, it's gathering the data and providing me a real-time preview. The sales trend actually looks pretty troubling. But that's some good feedback that maybe either that's not quite the report I was looking for or that that's exactly what I'd like to have it look like. In fact, I might want to emphasize it and bring it right back up to the top. So you can see that my effectiveness in putting this dashboard together is greatly enhanced because I only need to make one small decision at a time. And I'm getting that real-time feedback. This is live, real-time data out of that report, and I haven't even saved my dashboard yet. So I'm getting previews. I'm painting the picture one piece at a time. It's game-changing in terms of how easy it is to actually put that dashboard together. When I like it, I simply close it out. It reminds me that I haven't saved it yet. I save and close. Oop, I have an incomplete element here. Let's actually get rid of that one that I didn't finish.
So you're not only dragging and dropping the dashboard components, but the reports as well, and it's showing you all of that data in real time, even in the preview.
That's right. That's right. That's just the beginning of how much easier it's going to be to put and edit those dashboards together. And I'll bet the degree to which your executives are retaking control of their own dashboards in Salesforce.com, it's going to go up with Summer 10.
Yeah, you know, the Idea Exchange, this was a top feature on the Idea Exchange, and it really shows the power of how the community can source features and, you know, I guess the robustness of how the drag and drop dashboard, you know, how that's gone over time. So let's go over another highly requested feature on the Idea Exchange, and this is dynamic dashboards. And dynamic dashboards gives you the ability to view personalized information through one dashboard. You know, I know when I'm looking at my dashboards, every time I want to view my own data, I have to clone a dashboard that's made by my administrator and then run it as myself. Now with dynamic dashboards, it really cleans up the clutter of all those dashboards so I can view my own data just with one dashboard for my whole team.
This is a key issue. So every time when you think about what a best practice dashboard looks like for an individual, there's lots of individuals just like that person at your company. So let's take a look at an example here. So I've got my sales executive dashboard, and of course we all want to see the sales executive view the same way. That's going to be how the VP of sales sees the business, runs the business. And of course when we display that data, in this example, I'm the VP of sales. You're going to see it the way I do. But it's very different when you talk about an individual dashboard, one where this is for Bill West. He's one particular rep. And if I'm managing Bill, and a lot of people like Bill, I want everyone to take a look at how I manage reps and what those key performance indicators look like in pretty much the same way. In fact, a lot of times exactly the same way. It used to be that you'd put together the best dashboard for Bill, it looked awesome, and you'd click that clone button. Then you had to go update all those dashboards individually. Now, if I edit Bill's dashboard here, I might say I'm going to take it from just Bill's dashboard to any sales rep's dashboard. So I'll take Bill's name right out of the title, and to make that match, I'm going to switch it from running as a specified user to running as a logged-in user, which means whoever it is looking at this dashboard is going to see it as if it were built just for them. So it will be Bill and Sue and Jane and Carl and all the other sales reps that look just like Bill. They're going to feel like this dashboard was built just for them. And then, of course, if we go and start editing that dashboard, they're all going to see those changes because I'm changing it in one place. No more dashboard replication for sales rep dashboards.
That not only makes it convenient for the sales reps, but incredibly convenient for administrators as well, so they don't have to clean up the clutter of all of those dashboards. I guess the theme of analytics in Summer 10 is enhancing that experience for administrators and users as well. So, and, you know,
and it's good that you mentioned administrators because I don't have to replicate that dashboard. But remember, maybe I'm not Bill when I'm putting this dashboard together. So another subtle thing to note here is when I view the edit page, it's going to be previewing that real-time data. So I'm dragging and dropping that dashboard. It's going to be bringing back that real-time report data as I build it. So I can tell it, when you're running the dashboard preview for me, who should it pretend to be? And in this case, it's going to use Bill to do it. So it'll still look like Bill's dashboard, even though I'm logged into Scott Jorgensen, the administrator, putting together what that sales rep dashboard should look like. Makes it a lot easier for me to get it to look exactly the right way, again, without having to go all over the place, ask to log in as Bill. That's going to make me a lot more effective setting up those dashboards for other people.
Absolutely. Another way to enhance that dashboard experience Scott was talking about is by utilizing the new table summaries feature. This is another highly requested idea from the Idea Exchange, and with this feature, you can sum up the total value of a column in a dashboard metric. Scott, can we take a quick look at this feature?
This is about bringing the right kind of data in front of people to make those dashboards even more effective. And let's switch back to that sales executive dashboard I was running. And there's a really common analysis that a lot of sales executives like to pay attention to, which is the neglected accounts that they have. And today, if you put together a neglected accounts dashboard component, you might do something like the name of the account, and how neglected is it really? But to follow up on that data, you can't tell what the annual spend of that customer is. You can't tell what the name of that person is unless you click to drill through that dashboard component into that underlying report. That's pretty easy, but maybe not easy enough. And so if I hit edit here, I can actually bring more data right to the surface. So I might choose to add in the name of the account executive, because I might want to know if it's one account executive who owns the top 3 neglected accounts. That's going to jump out at me. I don't have to drill down to find out. Maybe I need to have a coaching session with that rep. So it's going to make, again, the management capability much easier without having to drill down. So again, it's about dashboard effectiveness here. So I'll hit edit. And again, you'll notice a lot easier to edit these dashboard components here. It's a table that we're working with. You can see a little bit more of the drag and drop dashboard capability here, how I can easily flip and preview different ways to visualize that data. It's that dashboard component gallery. That preview capability is just going to make it so much easier for me to put this together. Let's go back to that table view. What I really wanted to do is customize that table view a little bit more deeply, and this is that brand new feature where I can say, I don't just want 1 column or 2 columns in that table. I'd really like to add maybe a 3rd or a 4th column. In this case, I'd like to pull in that account owner. And so now I can tell what that rep's name is right next to who the account is, how long it's been neglected, meaning that there are no activities either scheduled or done with that particular customer. I might even work a little bit more on my report and pull up what the total annual spend was, or if there's any open opportunities with that account. That really maybe also might highlight it for me. But that's going to be really easy to get done. You can see it's added to my dashboard here. Such a powerful feature, yet such a simple idea.
Great. So last but not least, we're going to talk about the Report Builder. Report Builder has been in developer preview since spring and will continue to be in developer preview in summer 10. We've been getting some great feedback from the community on how to enhance this feature, so please continue to test this feature out in your developer editions and keep on sending that feedback.
It's all about the feedback here. So we just showed you the drag and drop dashboard capabilities. We just showed you the dynamic dashboard capabilities. You just saw the ability to add multiple columns into those table components. The reason we're able to get those out is because we got the right kind of feedback in the usability testing labs. And so the developer preview for the Report Builder has been going on since spring 10. We are intensely and aggressively looking for feedback here. So please go to your developer edition accounts, try out that Report Builder, and feed us those ideas on the Idea Exchange. It's all about getting the feedback, the usability labs going on. The pace of innovation here is amazing. You will be amazed with what is already in there, but we need to hear more. So that's why we're encouraging you to check out the developer preview of the Report Builder.
Absolutely. It's all about that iterative process. So test it out, try it out, and keep sending that feedback. So just a quick overview. We want to go over the feature enablement details for the Sales Cloud features. And as you can see through the green checkboxes, most of these features require some administrative setup, while a couple can be utilized directly by users. And next, we have the Service Cloud features, which pretty much all require some admin setup before they're ready for the users to utilize. Now we'd like to take a quick look at some exciting Chatter announcements. Our customers are in private beta for Summer 10, providing feedback on all of the Chatter features. Scott, how can everyone today take advantage of developing with Chatter?
So the key thing happening here is there are more than 500 customers already using Chatter. They're your customers, they're our customers, and you would not believe how excited they are. The feedback we are getting on how this is changing communication and collaboration and organizational effectiveness and response to changes in a company, it's shocking. So if you know any private beta customers out there or you'd like to get your customers into the private beta, now's your opportunity. It is an unbelievable experience that people are having in their companies with what's actually going on. As a partner of Salesforce.com, The 1-2 punch is to get out there and start innovating with these customers, and that's all about building applications. That's why we're offering the Chatter Developer Preview. So the private beta is for those customers to actually use it live for their companies to run their businesses. But you can get your hands on Chatter, try it out, build things, test things, and get us a lot of feedback about what you think about how we're doing. That's what's going on with the Developer Preview. And if you go to developerforce/chatter, you'll see the Developer Preview sign-up page, and you can sign up to get your own developer environment, use Chatter, use the Chatter platform, use the Chatter APIs. But better than that, you can hear from the 4,000 developers that are in the Chatter Dev Zone. And if the private beta is exciting, the Chatter Dev Zone is unbelievable. There are 4,000 of the most innovative Force.com developers in there, following each other, commenting on each other. I think there's a developer in there who's trying to get a lunch set up with Mark Benioff. So you should get in there and check out his opportunity to get that done. It's an amazing conversation going on with the leading developers in cloud computing from a collaboration perspective. And they're also co-innovating. They've put together applications. They're getting those applications installed in that environment. They're putting those applications on CodeShare. They're putting those applications on the App Exchange. And because there is so much innovation going on, we decided to encourage that a little bit. And we're actually running a developer challenge. So a lot of Chatter applications have been built. They are amazing applications. And if you haven't built a Chatter application yet, you know how to get started. Head to the Chatter Dev Zone, sign up for the Developer Preview, and when you build your application, make sure you submit it for the Chatter Developer Challenge. We're going to be giving away some iPads. We're going to be highlighting these applications. It's going to be an incredible experience for a developer to build their brand and really showcase their ability to innovate on the leading edge of what's going on with cloud computing.
And if you'd like to see some of the applications that have already been developed by some of our partners and fellow developers out there, check out the Chatter Exchange, which is now live on the App Exchange, where you can download applications into your Chatter Developer Edition orgs, or if you're on the private beta program, and start using those apps today.
Yep. Easiest way to find the Chatter Exchange is just punch it into Google. Chatter Exchange, #1 hit. You will be amazed by the videos of some of those applications, visualizations, collaboration timelines. It's shocking what people are putting together so quickly since they only got their hands on it with Spring 10, which was only a few months ago. Absolutely.
Really exciting stuff going on with Chatter. And I guess that concludes our content for today. Thanks for joining us for a quick overview for Summer 10 Cloud App Features. And for more information of what you've seen today, feel free to visit developer.force.com/releases. And just a quick reminder, while posting on those discussion boards or Twitter, please use the Summer 10 tag or the hashtag Summer 10. This is going to ensure that it's easy to search for posts about Summer 10 by the rest of the community.
All right, so we do have several questions here. We'll try to take them one by one. The first question we've had is from someone who's very interested in Salesforce knowledge, but they're actually using solutions instead, and they're curious to know if the solutions are available in Force.com sites. I can tell you that they actually are. So Solutions is a very, very simple knowledge management application. Every single Salesforce.com customer already has solutions. So you can list your solutions on Force.com sites. They can get indexed by Google. It's a little bit similar to Salesforce Knowledge, but I have to tell you that the Salesforce Knowledge application is going to be a lot more powerful and effective in those Google indexing scenarios, in the community support scenarios, fundamentally because knowledge is integrated into ideas, it's integrated into answers, it's got some more robust searching and API capabilities. So they can do some similar things from a Force.com sites perspective, but there are going to be some differences when you talk about sophistication. The next one we've got is Answers available in the free support portal or just the customer portal? So the demos we did today were using Force.com sites and the Salesforce customer portal application. That's what all customers are really, really doing today. There is an original, very, very simple self-service portal. Again, all of our customers have it. It's essentially free, but no, it does not support Salesforce Knowledge. It will not do anything that you saw today. The next question we have is Knowledge part of Unlimited Edition, or does it cost extra? You don't see it. Well, if you're a partner, you can use Knowledge right away in Developer Edition. Those Developer Edition accounts have licenses for all of our applications, licenses for Knowledge, Content, Chatter, Customer Portal, the Partner Portal, Force.com sites. All of them are turned on and enabled. So if you want to use Knowledge, try out Knowledge, use your Developer Edition accounts, you already have access.
However, just to reiterate, Knowledge is not included in Unlimited Edition as of today. It is available at an additional fee, however, along with the rest of the Service Cloud.
Right. So if you buy the Sales Cloud application and you're running on the Unlimited Edition version of the platform, the key is that you bought Sales Cloud. Sales Cloud does not include Knowledge. If you buy Service Cloud 2, Service Cloud 2 includes Knowledge. So it's not so much about whether you have Unlimited Edition or not. It's a lot more about whether you're buying the Sales Cloud or the Service Cloud set of applications. So got to differentiate between which version of the platform you have access to and which applications you're actually licensing. Two totally different dimensions. It's all about getting those Service Cloud applications to get that Knowledge application. The next one is, can answers be connected to solutions if you don't have Knowledge? I have to say, maybe. You could get in there with the APIs. You could try to work on some things, but I got to be honest, I used to be a software engineer. You're probably going to spend a lot more time and money building that than it would simply cost to license the Salesforce Knowledge application. Plus, the pace of innovation with the Salesforce Knowledge application, the depth of integration. There's some amazing things in the roadmap around recommendation and genius engines. It's going to be very hard to keep pace with that. So if you really want to do advanced things with integration with knowledge bases, the Salesforce Knowledge application is the path forward.
Absolutely. So the next question is about the recording of the Tech Talk and when it's going to be made available. And this recording will be available on developer.force.com/releases. So watch out for a follow-up email, and we'll get that up as soon as possible.
So the next question is, what security settings do you need to follow an object? And when someone asks about following an object, Satesha, what are they talking about?
So when I am looking at my feed in Chatter, I want to see all of those updates on, whether the status of my opportunity has been updated or a case has been closed, things like that.
That's something we did in the demo, right? So we saw that knowledge base article, and there was the green follow button. I click that follow button, and then that's going to start showing up in my feed as I get my work done and want to collaborate and be aware of what's happening with that knowledge base article. To click the follow button, the permission you need is the read permission. You need to be able to see an object in order to follow it, and that's it.
So the next question is about having other people follow records. So if I'm a sales manager, can I auto-enable following for sales reps? Like, can I have a sales rep automatically follow certain opportunities?
That is a very interesting question. As you actually use Chatter, I think one of the most important things to appreciate is it's putting the end user in control. So flip it around. If you were a sales rep, would you want someone telling you what to pay attention to? To me, that's a little bit more how email works, right? People sign me up for aliases. They're blasting me spam all the time. I'm really getting flooded with a lot of stuff, and I'm always trying to filter it out. So I think you want to think a little more carefully around what is that employee effectiveness actually going to look like if you start dictating what's going to be showing up from a collaboration perspective. Chatter is most effective when the end user is really deciding what to try to pay attention to. Now, that being said, there are some very interesting things you can do here. So you can use the Chatter APIs to specify who should be following objects. So if you think in a collaboration scenario, you can predict what an employee should be paying attention to, maybe because they're related to that process, they're a member of a team, or you've got some analytics that are telling you they probably should watch what's happening, then maybe there is a case where you might want to auto-follow something. But I think you want to think through that collaboration scenario before you start adding in things like that.
And on that note, there are some applications out there that maybe suggest certain records or people to be following if I'm a sales rep, if I'm a sales manager. Those are on the Chatter Exchange right now. So feel free to check out the Chatter Exchange and see how maybe that could help your sales rep utilize, what or suggest things that they should be following.
Exactly. On that Chatter Exchange, there's actually an application that does exactly what you're talking about. So I encourage you to check that out, watch the video. If it's interesting, you could install it into your Developer Edition account, try it out, see how you think it works. But you can get your hands on that idea right away. So the next one is, does the scheduler work with Google Apps calendars? The Cloud Scheduler, one of the applications we demoed early on that help us set up that meeting, it's going to work no matter what kind of calendar you're using. It's totally calendar agnostic. It's leveraging the cloud scheduling calendar that's built into the Force.com platform. So whether it's Outlook or Google Calendar or Entourage or iCal, it's not really going to matter. We don't really differentiate what kind of calendar those users are using on their desktop. Additionally, would the Cloud Scheduler work with Gmail? I used Gmail with Cloud Scheduler in the demo earlier in the scenario, so I would say absolutely it's going to work with any email client someone is using. And the next question is, can I request the activation of Cloud Scheduler right away? Cloud Scheduler is actually in pilot right now. So if you wanted to put it into production, there is a pilot. It does not have all of the Summer 10 features that you saw today. But if you really want to see everything available, head to pre-release. When the pre-release that's happening for Summer 10, you can get your hands on all of the features that I just showed you. And, of course, you'll also have them in your Developer Edition accounts. But ultimately, when Summer 10 hits the ground, that's when all customers will have it live in production.
So the next question is, are the dashboard features switched on automatically? And will there be reporting and dashboard folders?
The drag and drop dashboard capability that we showed you today is going to be available automatically. And the folder capability is essentially the same. All the folders you use to manage the organization of your dashboards, the organization of your reports, those are really the same. Those aren't really changing. The only thing we did there is add a dynamic search so that as you're selecting the reports that you'd like to be using and as you're trying to find the dashboards you'd like to find, it's a heck of a lot easier to find them. But the security and the folder functionality, it's really essentially the same. There was also another question, actually, about the Cloud Scheduler.
Yeah, let's get back to that one real quick before we move on to analytics.
And someone was asking if you can see the proposed times before sending the invitation. And absolutely. So in the Cloud Scheduler, you can see a preview of what the meeting is that you're going to send out before you actually send it. So you can see your own availability, all the availability of the people that you're trying to invite, and a preview of what you're actually going to send before you send it. Another question about when using the Cloud Scheduler, proposed times are marked as tentative to block further scheduling, or when you select specific times. Wow, this question's so hard to follow here. Let me reread this question a little more carefully.
Okay, so will proposed times be tentative on your calendar? So suppose I propose a meeting for you, Scott, and you haven't responded. Will other people see that proposed meeting time as tentative, or will it see it as busy?
I think it's a great question, and I don't know. So you're going to have to go read the release notes or try it out yourself in the preview. I do not know if it marks as tentative or not.
So I guess we can move on to analytics now. And one of the questions that someone's asked here is the dashboard user change for newly created dashboards, or will it apply to existing dashboards? So that dynamic dashboard capability, is that going to change my existing dashboards, or is that something that I can that will be maintained and then I can choose to change it?
So this is the key thing about the Force.com platform is when our releases come out, we're not going to change how your company runs. So we're not going to change the settings of your dashboard. We're not going to change the results that come back in your dashboard reports. So all of the ways that your dashboards work, if you don't do anything, they will stay the same. However, you can go to any dashboard that you want, hit Dashboard Properties, and toggle it from the setting it's on now, where it runs it as if it's somebody else, to that logged in user setting where it becomes a dynamic dashboard, and then it will run as if whoever is running that dashboard, it was built just for them, and it will be dynamic. And that was what we did with that Bill West dashboard. We just flipped from the setting it was on, which is what you all have today, to the new setting. So it's totally optional, and unless you change something about your dashboards, nothing will change.
Here's a good question. Someone's asked, do you run the reports as my data or all data when setting up their dynamic dashboards?
It's going to use the permission model. Whenever you run reports in Salesforce.com, it's always going to follow the sharing model in the platform. So when you're setting up that dashboard, it will either run as you, that's that default setting, or if you have flipped your dashboard over to that dynamic dashboard setting, and remember in the demo I did this, I flipped it to that dynamic setting. I said, let's run it as Bill West, which was not me. And that way when I'm seeing that dynamic dashboard preview, I'm seeing that data as Bill West. And so that made it easy for me to build that dashboard. So it's not all data. It's still going to follow that security model. The next question is, will analytics enhancements apply to all versions? The answer is yes.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what edition you have of Salesforce.com. If you have access to dashboards, you will have the dashboard capabilities that you saw today. Next question is, where do you pull the sum of days since the activity? Oh, and someone wants to know how we put together that dashboard component. It was probably a formula field. I don't remember the exact details of the configuration of that report. If you're super interested in that, you can go ahead and send me an email at sjorgensen@salesforce.com. I'd be happy to package that dashboard component for you on the App Exchange, and you can download it and install it into your environment. That's no problem. But I'll bet it's a full formula report.
So our next question is, how do I test Report Builder? And like we mentioned earlier, you can test the current fully functional version of Report Builder in Developer Edition. So head over to developer.force.com and sign up for your own Developer Edition and start testing away and send us some important feedback.
All right, and so the next question here is Chatter included in all editions at no additional cost, or is there an extra cost involved? This is the key thing about Chatter. You need to understand that Chatter is part of the Force.com platform. Any user of the platform is going to have access to those Chatter collaboration capabilities. If that user has access to applications, Chatter is going to work with those applications. They could be applications from an ISV running off of the App Exchange. So any partner building an application, all of your users have access to Chatter. All of your applications now have collaboration capabilities. They are all chatterized, if you want to use that word. So it's baked in. Doesn't matter if they're licensing Force.com or CRM. It is part of the platform. Additionally, there might be some future capabilities for someone to have Chatter even more available to them. But for now, every single user of the platform has Chatter baked into what they do.
Yep, no extra cost at this point in time.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that concludes the question and answer portion of our webinar. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today to review some of the sales, service, and Chatter features of Summer 10. For more information, you can go to developer.force.com/releases, and don't forget to sign up for those Developer Edition accounts and explore the new features.
Yep. See you on Twitter.